My name is Rudi Jansen. I'm the head coach at ACOA. We work with accountancy practices to help them grow their profits, get the right team behind them, systemize the practice throughout, and of course also the whole marketing and sales and how to do that effectively. And I'm also the author of The Highly Profitable Accountant. The book has the ability to change a partner's practice through the structure in the book, where it covers a whole lot of ground, but in very simple terms, and it gives a model on how to increase net profits to 50% plus, and exactly how to do that step by step. There's ideas in there on how to reduce debtors and work in progress days quite dramatically. There's ideas in there on how to get the right team, an A-plus team behind you, where to find those people. Also on outsourcing, how to do that effectively, because a lot of people have burnt their fingers on that and don't want to go there, when actually it's a very good idea to go there when you do it correctly. Then we look at different systems. So one simple system that a lot of accountants get wrong is the whole customer service system. There's KPIs and which KPIs we need to be tracking. And then also, especially on the growth, how to get effective marketing in place in the practice, and also an effective marketing team, because you as a practice owner, you don't want to be doing it. We touched on sales, pricing, which is always a big question. How do I get my pricing right? And of course, looking at acquisitions and exactly how to do that. The book even gives an example of how to acquire accountancy practices with none of your own money down, as a real life case study. As accountants, we all understand about systems and how important it is. And I think we spend probably a lot of time telling our clients about it and how to do it. But often in our own business and our own practices, we're so busy that we don't really get around to fully systemizing our entire practice. We're doing, and we focus on some essential systems, but it's a bit like an F1 racing car. If there's one little bolt out of place, the entire thing can explode. And that happens in our practices. So systemization of it is really, really key. And, we might think to ourselves, oh, there's hundreds of systems, where do I even start? And the reality is that there are a few key systems that absolutely have to be fine-tuned and work. And when those do work properly, it all works properly. If you were to imagine there's a triangle, the one corner is what I call team, another corner is systems, and the third corner is growth. And the broken model comes down to the fact that this triangle, when you've got a practice that actually works and gives you freedom, because this triangle is, if it's there, if you're on this side of this triangle, you're on a treadmill and you're stuck. Then there's this triangle, and on the other side of the triangle is freedom. So therefore the fixing of this triangle is really important. So the three corners, it's how do we get the right team behind us? The systems is how do we effectively systemize everything throughout the practice? And the third corner is how do we create the growth in the practice? So the whole point is to get this triangle right and be able to put a tick next to each of those three corners. And when you're able to do that, that is when you can move from this side being stuck on this treadmill to the other side where freedom awaits. Building the right team is absolutely essential, because as a business owner, you're either looking forwards, building your business, your practice, or you're looking backwards, fixing your team and their problems and mistakes. But you can't be doing both things at the same time. You can't be looking forwards and backwards at the same time effectively. So in order to look forwards and build your practice, you have to have the right team behind you. The whole question of delegation is a big one for a lot of people. I've got these people who work with me and I delegate, but they don't do what they say they're going to do, and things are late and all kinds of hassles. But delegation, it's a very simple model that I describe in the book. I call it the who, what, when triangle. So again, we've got a triangle, three corners, the who, the what, the when. So this is just one example. In the book I cover a lot more, but if you think about when you request something of someone else, or you delegate, big key is that for every request or delegation that you have this triangle. So you've got one specific person that you've asked to do it. So there's a who that's responsible. There's a clear what you've agreed. So that's whatever they said they're going to do. And the third corner, which a lot of people miss, is the when corner. So in other words, Rudi, please will you do X? And can we agree that that will be back by Friday morning, 10 o'clock? So we create this triangle, and that's the one part of delegation. The other very important part is the follow-up. And a lot of people say, oh, but I haven't got time to follow up. And yet that is a key part of the leadership and the delegation. And there's lots of ways to do the follow-up and to keep track of that. So very, very important. The question of how can a practice grow, there's a number of ways. And again, we cover that in the book. Obviously, marketing, which is a big thing, needs a system around it. Sales needs a system. Pricing is a big one. Getting that right. And a lot of people don't quite know how to do that effectively. And again, when you know how to do it, like most things in life, it's pretty straightforward and simple. And of course, there's always acquisitions as well. So those are the main ways. And I often use the spider's web as an analogy. So I'd say, if you imagine a spider's web, then in the center of the spider's web, we want to have a little web, and that's the things that you are probably doing in any case, but to systemize it and do it properly. So for example, we know we should be asking for referrals, but are we actually doing that in a systemized way? So we go back to that as an example, and we systemize it properly. So that's one example. Our website should have certain elements on it. Do we have all the right elements on it? So those are some examples. So that's about getting the inner foundations right. And then the second part of this web, once we've got the inner bits right, it's all about what I call content. So there it's about, are we using blogs? Are we getting articles out there? Can people find us when they go to Google and they search for an accountant? Do we come up, as an example? So that's all about content and constantly getting content out there. Things like seminars or webinars, which really is about getting the name out there through content sharing. So those are the big parts of marketing. And yeah, like I say, systemizing all of this one bit at a time throughout the practice, throughout the business, will really help a practice grow. Over the years, the successes have been numerous. And on our website, there's lots and lots of testimonials. And even for the book on Amazon, there's lots and lots of positive feedback on it. But there's a vast range from small practitioners who have doubled, tripled, and grown quite phenomenally, to a recent example, a client of mine, their starting point a few years ago was about 1.5 million turnover in their practice. I spoke with the practice owner about 2 months ago, and he was saying this year the turnover in the accountancy practice is 5 million. But in the meantime, because he's acquired the knowledge and skills on how to effectively run his practice, business, he's also acquired other businesses. And he was saying to me that his other businesses this year will be turning over about an additional £5 million as well. So, it is about growing the practice, but the knowledge you gain in truly getting the right team, systemizing the marketing and sales side, that is transferable into other businesses as well. So, a vast range. The book is available on Amazon. I know the hard copy is selling for $14.99 at the moment. And at the moment, we're also running a promotion with a limited supply of free books that we're giving away. People can get those from the website www.thehighlyprofitableaccountant.com.